Greetings, fellow Portal Masters. Greetings, fellow Portal Masters. I'm Crash Rowsell. Once again, time to crash the Skylanders with the last top 5 in this Levels mini-series here on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Imaginators Levels. If you don't know what this is, for the last 5 weeks, and also this week, so technically the last 6 weeks, I've been talking about the best levels in all the games, in every single game in the franchise of Skylanders. Starting with Spyro's Adventure all the way up till now. I'm disgusting. But today we're going to be talking about Imaginators, which is the final game they released in the series. I know I could go and do, a video on Ring of Heroes, but why would I do that? Because the game is terrible. Imaginators isn't much better. Unfortunately, there's a few levels in Imaginators that's not great, but there's a lot of levels in Imaginators that are fantastic. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because today, in our last video in the series, it is the top 5 best Imaginator levels. So, just like any of the lists on the channel, straight up, I thank you all for your honest opinions in the comments below. If it isn't obvious, I'm recording these in bulk because I'm wearing the same shirt that I was for the last few videos. I'm assuming you guys are going to be leaving your comments and being respectful on, because as long as you're respectful of the opinion of myself and the fellow commenters and the subscribers here on the channel, then we'll be respectful back to you, and that's how it goes. So let me know what your favorite level is in the comment below. We'll get more details at the end. Now, the big thing about this level is I'm not including any of the realms. So, the Undead Realm, Fire Realm, things like that, those aren't going to be on the list. I don't consider them levels in that they're realms. I consider them a side thing you can do. You technically don't even have to do the realms at all to beat the game. I mean, if you've seen my Imaginator lock, Imagine lock, I didn't do any of the realms, and I beat the game. So, I mean, did I beat it? Who knows? You'll have to go watch the Imagine Lock and find out. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the best levels here, in my opinion. So, you will be seeing a video on the realms in the future. Maybe I'll do top 5 Imaginator realms. Something like that. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that in the comments. But let's hop into number 5 right now and see what's on my best list. So number 5 on the list is a level that you pop into as Spyro. Well, not as Spyro. You're with Spyro. It's the Dragon Temple. What I love about the Dragon Temple is it honors replay. And that's one of my favorite things, is where I mentioned with the Oracle, for example, is you have to play the level at least twice to 100% it. And even then, you probably don't even will 100% it because you'll miss something. That's what I noticed right away. I played, I think, this level 4 times, in general, to beat everything. The first time I played it, I just played through my normal way. The second time I went back and went the opposite way, because you get to the thing, there's fire and there's ice. You can choose fire or ice. The second time I played, I went to the opposite one. And for the other one, there's brains and brawn. So one time you go to brawn, one time you go to brains. Then at the end, when you actually face, after you beat the Doomlander, wow, why did I get those wrong all the time? You get to the little flying part where you fly down to the bottom. That was my 4th time where I had to play that and get the achievement for it, because there's an achievement where you have to land on every single island. So that's what I love about that level, especially that ending. It's just a little thing where you're just trying to get to the bottom, right? You didn't know that there's so much stuff because you're exploring that whole time. You're not going to get everything on your first run. It's not possible to get everything on your first run with this one, because there's some stuff that's just available in the Ice Realm, just in the Fire Realm, just in the Brain Realm, just in the Brawn Realm. And getting to all those islands, it's a little complicated, but you can actually do it on your first try. But to be honest, you're probably going to need a guide for it. There's an awesome guy who did a guide online. I followed his video step by step. What I did was I reduced the speed down to 0.75 so I could keep up a little bit. So if I seen him running, I'd just be a little bit ahead of him. But it was good like that. Dragon Temple is a fantastic level. It's such a fun level, especially that it honors the fact that you have to replay it. And the enemies aren't that tough either. It's a very fun level to do a little bit of grinding too. So the Dragon Temple is fantastic and gets number 5 on my list. So number 4 on the list is definitely a level that some of you have never played, which makes me a little bit sad. It's Robo's level with the Lost Imaginite Mines. So I mentioned when I was talking about Doomstone that Doomstone was worth the wait. Lost Imaginite Mines was just like that. When they released Wildstorm and Robo, they came with extended levels with the Cursed Tiki Temple and the Lost Imaginite Mines. I got Wildstorm right away. It took me a little while to find Robo, but I did. If I look back on it, I should have bought 2. Imagine having Robo still in the package right now. Whew, I'd be rich. I would never have to pay my rent again. I need the live stream. Duracell, you need to pay my rent. Anyways, The last Imaginite Mines was added, and the level itself is really fun because you start out as just a regular level. You're hopping across Skylands, you're getting to the spot, and then you go into this lair, and it becomes like a tech world. The really cool thing about this level is the magnetize that you get. You get this magnet that be able to push and pull, which you have that in Superchargers. There's that part in that where you face off. You go to that level where you have the thing that you can push and pull, you can magnetize everything. And I like that they did that in Imaginary Minds. And it makes the puzzles really fun, because there's one where a ball drops in, you gotta push the ball into the barrier to destroy it, but then you at another point you're expecting the ball to fall in front of you, but it falls on the other side. You're like, how in the world? Oh, right. And you pull the ball towards you. It's so much fun doing that puzzle. And one of my favorite things, as weird as this is gonna sound, is hopping on that little tablet thing, their little stand that you gotta get all the way to the end, and just taking out enemies along the way. I really love the fact that it stops when there's an enemy right in front of you. So you have to get off, destroy the enemy, and then hop back on it basically, or walk beside it to make it push. And that's one thing I really like about it. It's just one of those little tiny key to details type thing. This level is so much fun to explore. I remember playing this level 3 times. The first time I played it on my first playthrough, I actually have it on the channel. It's my blind playthrough. I knew nothing about it. It was Robo in the Last Imaginate Minds. I think that video went over really well too. I wish I could do those videos again. Sadly, I can't. I mean, I could do it with, like, say, the 3DS versions, because I never played those. But this one thing I really liked is you got a Skylander, you got a new level, and you got that little chest that came with it, which was really fun too, to unlock all the pieces. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved it so much. This level is so much fun. I'm sorry if you haven't got a chance to play it, but definitely go watch that video if you didn't. It's better than nothing. Number 4 is The Lost Imaginate Minds. Hope one day, if you haven't, you get to play it. Number 3 is another expansion pack level. It came with one of my favorite characters of all time. I did a video a while back now, if I'd like to look at it. From when I'm recording this, it was only like last week. But when Crash Bandicoot and Dr. Neo Cortex got added to the game, they threw in a level called the THUMPIN WUMPA Islands. It was basically a Crash Bandicoot game. This was back when the Reignited Trilogy, the Insane Trilogy was released. So you actually got to play as Crash Bandicoot, but this one here gave you a lot of cool things. I love the fact that there's 2 little missions related just for Cortex and just for Crash Bandicoot. That spicy chili run, oh man, that's tough. It took me a couple attempts to actually get the soul gem that I needed for, I think it was Cortex. I really like the fact that he sprinkled that in, but along with that, there's so many references to old Crash Bandicoot games and all that stuff. I love the fact that you can bounce on the boxes and they make the sound. You collect the Wumpa fruit that gives you that. There's the TNT crates. My favorite thing, I think I have it in the video over there at one point, I jump in between the blocks that make me bounce up and down. They go boop, 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 like that. The enemies are really fun. They're very unique. I love the fact that there's a couple little throwbacks. There's the big, this is something you might not know. The koala that smacks down the hammers, I'm thinking that's a reference to the koala in the first game. I forget his name. I'm terrible. I should have looked this up before I did it. But I think that might be a reference to him, which is really cool. Along with that, hilariously, Dr. Neo Cortex isn't the boss battle. Neo Cortex is the main villain in Crash Bandicoot, but it's actually Fake Crash, which I thought was very interesting because Fake Crash doesn't really have a lot of notoriety here in North America. He was a big mascot over in Japan when the original Crash Bandicoot came out. The only reason I knew Fake Crash in general was from CTR. I unlocked him as an extra character. I typed in the code and I could see him. I was like, what is Fake Crash? And now a lot of people didn't really know about that. It's just like a knockoff version of him. This level is so nostalgic, and I can't tell you the true joy I felt when I took a photo of Crash Bandicoot standing beside Spyro in that one part. I love that photo so much because I'm like my childhood in one photo because I'm a huge Spyro and Crash Bandicoot fan. And before anyone asks, no, my name is not based off of Crash Bandicoot. My initials are CR, and it just went from there. Number 3, is the Thumpin WUMPA Islands. Thumpin WUMPA Islands. Why is that so hard to say? Number 2 gives me a little bit of a throwback. So in the last part of the level, well, the second last part of the level, it throws back to the last video where I talked about the Spellpunk Library, where, you know, you get that 2D side-scrolling thing. The Golden Arcade gave us just that. The one thing I love about this is that it's basically a bunch of mini-games. We'll look past the fact that they added Trigger Happy for some reason. I don't know why he sounds like that and why he doesn't do anything else in the game, except he just shows up and is like, I'm in a hot air balloon! Shoot me down! Ah! I don't know who thought Trigger Happy should speak. They should be fired. Just straight up. Like, fire him. You're fired. Get out of here. You go through the beginning of the level and you just look past that. The rest of the level is fantastic. You get introduced to Sal. I love him so much. He is a great one. I love the fact that he bashes Wolfgang and the fact that you can be playing as Wolfgang. He's like, no, like that greedy brother of mine, Wolfgang. Wolfgang's just standing there just like, oh, okay. The mini games involved are fantastic. You get to play a little game of Sky Stones with, or Creation Clash, sorry. Not Sky Stones, Creation Clash with the Creation Clasher. There's a little side game with Sprocket and her tank. Finally, Sprocket actually does something good for once. With that little mini game, there's the shooting mini game where you gotta shoot the ducks and then you gotta shoot down the thing. You do a little grind area to get down there. There's push blocks. There's so many enemies, so much exploration to do in this level. And of course, as I mentioned, the last thing you do is a side-scrolling adventure where you're a little gumdrop and you gotta bounce around and you've gotta get a certain amount of points to get the trophy, and then chaos appears and you do a boss battle with the Doom Raider inside a video game. And I love how he goes, like, for the first time ever, you have to face my Skyland, my Doom Raider, in a video game! And you're like, but I'm in a video game. The only thing is, this is the level that introduces the brain, which I've never been a huge fan of him. He's actually not one of my favorite NPCs. I think he's kind of boring. And again, Imaginators just kind of ends with him becoming good for some reason, and he doesn't give you a reason why. So that's the only flaw about this level besides for trigger happy topping. But this level is so much fun. If you haven't played this level, I don't know why, please go back and play it. It is fantastic. Number 2 is the Golden Arcade, and it is golden. That was the worst thing I've ever said on this channel. Number 1, you're going to find interesting. If you've seen my Crash's Favorite, you know that number 1 is the Mushroom River. And you're saying to yourself, why the Mushroom River? I don't know why. It's kind of like the Operation Troll Rocket Steel. It's one of those levels that I just enjoy. You start off right away by finding Gil Grunt, which Gil Grunt is one of my favorite Skylanders. I absolutely love Gil. He's just got a special place in my heart, basically. I love that you start off with him, and the exploration of this level is so much fun. Just from getting from point A to point B, just going backtracking a little bit to get to certain spots and doing odds and ends. I absolutely love that. I love the fact that you can do things like that in the game. Especially with Imaginators when they were doing that. I also love Eruptor and the fact that he keeps drinking the water when Stealth Elf clearly said, don't, it'll kill you. And he just, kept throwing up all the time. This also has my favorite Doom Raider battle, or one of my favorites. I'm not sure if I'll do my favorite. Maybe I'll do a top 5 video of the top 5 Doom Raider battles. This is one of my favorites. I love the brawler that's on top. He's really unique, and I love the fact that he can destroy his own beehives. Thank God. So now I don't got to do it. This level is great for money, in my opinion. As I always said, the best way to level up a Skylander is to do the battle arena. Obviously, Bruce, you're only level so shut up. Money, the Mushroom River, in my opinion, has a great spot to get a lot of money. One thing I really like about that is an easy way to get money for it. The level isn't hard. It's one of the early stage levels. So again, as I mentioned way back when, I like the fact that in the later games they made the earlier levels really good compared to it. And that's what you want. You want a game to be able to hook you from the beginning, right? And then kind of slow down a little bit further in. I mean, are we even going to talk about that level with the stupid icing? I hate that cake level. That'll be in my worst levels if I talk about that. But yeah, number 1 on the list is the Mushroom River because it just overall is a fun level and it's the perfect spot to start you off in the game. Plus, great money level. And that's going to do it for my top 5 best Imaginator levels here on the channel. We're done, ladies and gentlemen. This is all 6. So we talked about every single game. As I mentioned, I did pre-record all these, so I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this series as much as I did. I just like talking about Skylanders, obviously. This was a different way I did it too. I was standing up here in person, the video was here in the corner, so let me know if you enjoyed that. I could be doing a couple more videos like that. I'm probably not going to strictly do those videos, like it's not just going to switch to me doing that from now on. I like doing the voiceover stuff because I feel like you get a little more personal with it. And I don't really screw up a lot when I talk. Because you may have noticed I stumble a lot on my words and you just see them picking their fingers all the time too. You guys can't see them when I'm doing voiceovers, just saying. Plus, the dog doesn't run in. If you missed that back in Swap Force, she just ran into the room randomly. But that's one thing I like. I like being able to talk to you guys and just showing I'm real, basically. And that's one thing I really like about it. So if you did like this kind of setup, let me know in the comments below. Write down, let me know your favorite Imaginator level and your least favorite level. And again, as long as you're respectful of me. I think next week I'm going to try to do an every rank video because it's been top 5. I mentioned in Star Wars Adventure I'll do every giant, so I think I might do that. It's not really a big one. It's only like 8 giants. There's only 8 giants. So yeah. Maybe I'll sprinkle in a little bit of comedy into it. You know me with comedy, I'm terrible at it. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this video series. You can go back and watch the other 5 if this is the first video you're watching with me. Really? This is the first video you're watching me? You can do a lot better. But if you did enjoy, let me know, leave a like and a comment below. But I'll see you next week for that, and for the rest of the week. Try to upload 3 times a week, guys. I'm gonna do what I can. But as always, I bid you farewell.